also say that, as I understand it, one of our purpose today will be to run through this session so that the recording of this program can be kept in your iversity site in order to help others understand how a typical live virtual classroom or an LVC works. In addition to that, I have given myself an additional objective as well. To such participants who would like to undergo this type of a learning process, I think they need also to evaluate the presenter, namely the teacher. Is he or she clear enough that we can understand and communicate with that person in order to get maximum benefit out of this session? Lastly, but not the least, many of the people would also be interested in gaining some form of a takeaway, and just because this is a free session, I didn't want to miss the experience content of the participants. So in this case, I'm going to treat you and Bala, Santosh, as much as a student or a participant as well. So there is clearly an objective that I'm working towards, wherein that you should also be able to gain some benefit out of the time that you have invested. So on a little bit of a more formal note, let me thank Bala and yourself for giving me this privilege of presenting this session for iversity, and I value your time enormously, so I will try to make best use of it. Third, I also want to invite you to stop me then and there in case if you want to interact and ask some clarification or raise some questions, as any other learner or a participant would do. And later on, perhaps we can even try and see if we can reactivate the microphone scenario so that you could also try and see to whatever extent possible you could interact and participate in a more vocal manner. So let's get started very quickly. And today I wanted to talk to you all about a practice, a retail practice that exists predominantly in North America and some parts of Europe, called Black Friday. The name has a very ominous ring to it. In fact, a lot of people would signify the color black with something not so good, but in this case, mercifully, that is not the case. It is all for good, so let's have a look at it. First, for those who are not familiar with the North American retail practices, let me quickly bring you up to speed on the concept of Black Friday. Friday obviously is day of the week, Friday, and it is the Friday after Thanksgiving in the USA. As you know, this is something very interesting, by the way. Americans take less time from work. The capitalist system obviously has less free time for its participants. I didn't want to use the name employees to sound like a communist, but the fact of the matter is they are very stingy when it comes to giving maximum number of holidays. So one of the most important holidays, other than the July 4th, which is the American Independence Day, Christmas, is Thanksgiving. So clearly Thanksgiving, which comes in the month of November, that is usually the 4th Thursday in the November every year. So the Friday, the ensuing day after the Thanksgiving, is usually the day called Black Friday, and it officially marks the beginning of the Christmas season, in particular reference to shopping. And apparently it goes back to 1966, but this is somewhat debatable because some people are of the opinion that actually it goes 100 perhaps years more. But I do not think it can be as old as 100, because this is a very typical milestone associated with organized retailing. So clearly it has to be a post Second World War period when things began to assume a certain amount of scale in the USA. So that's what we are dealing with here. So it really doesn't matter when it started, but what is more interesting is how it all is synced together. Are we cool so far, Bala, Santosh?